Hello out there. Johnny Daniel, independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. How are you tonight? I'm a couple minutes late because I've had an eventful day and I'm trying to get everything straight for you guys, but I'm here. Let's go. Let's have some fun. And now I'm thinking, I don't think I changed off of Wi-Fi. So we'll see if we have problems tonight. Let me know. And let's see. Let me shrink down my screen and get everything set for you guys and ready. So how's everybody doing? Good? So if you don't follow me on regular Facebook, personally, there I am. Cool. So today's been a little adventurous, and it wasn't supposed to be, but Joel got a flat on his bike going to Laughlin. And so I have been a little out of pocket today, but it is okay. That is just what happens some days, isn't it? Thankfully, I have a job where I can take off for 4 hours and go have some fun, shall we say. So, let me move a tiny bit. Whoop, hold on. And I'm going to move down a tiny bit and move up a tiny bit and see what we get, because I didn't have a chance to center everything. I'm sorry about that, you guys, but life sometimes happens just a little bit. So, still glad to be here. Still happy to be stamping. And I'm glad I made it back in time. I will say that. Alright, let me center things a tiny bit. Hold on just a second. We're doing things a tiny bit different tonight. And I'm just trying to get centered here. I've got my phone attached with a light on it now, so the stand's a tiny bit different than what I'm used to. So we will get there. Like everything else, it's a process, and by the time you figure it out, it changes, right? So I am being adaptive, shall we say. So I'm just waiting for the video to catch up and make sure I'm centered, and then we will get started. So welcome to it. Welcome to life. Welcome to Crafter's Life and everything else. Alrighty, so I can scooch down a tiny bit, and then I think we're set and ready to go. So I'm going to wait for that to catch up, and then we are set and ready. I hope. I hope. Alright. So let's see here. How we doing? How's the live feed going? Any buffering? Are we good? I don't know if anybody's on with me. So, we are just going to make it happen and make it work. And it looks like I am centered and ready to go. So, here we are, off to the races, right? Alrighty. So, tonight we've got some interesting things planned. Some things that I hadn't planned, and other things that I had planned. So we will get there, like everything else around, right? Alrighty, so for tonight, I'm going to show you the cards we're doing for card class. Yes, really, I already have them done. Isn't that awesome? For the week of May 8th, 10th, or 12th. Okay, so we're going to be doing an inlaid dragonfly. We're going to be doing a manly wood textured kind of card. And then we are going to be doing this kiss technique that I showed last week. And I got a lot of comments on this, so we're actually going to do this for the class. And of course we'll have alternates of Happy Mother's Day and whatnot. You will have to let me know if the lighting is any better. I've got a new connector light for my phone, so hopefully it is. But if not, let me know. So tonight we're going to be doing two projects. We're going to be doing some stamping in clay, and then we're also going to be doing a card, believe it or not. Not what I had planned, but, you know, on my way out to go get Joel, I found a card that in my head that we need to do. Of course, because what else do you think about while you're driving, right? I'm sure you guys don't think about anything other than cards, right? Because that's what my mind goes to. So I have to show you something kind of cool, at least I think. And I hope it's really cool because I got 300 of them, which translates to boxes that are like half the size of the table, and I got 3 of them. So my attic will be having some nice, shiny, metallic, bright red bubble mailer envelopes. Guess what these are for? These are for our virtual classes that are starting and for catalogs. So when I say, hey, a package is coming, guess what? This is what you're going to be looking for from now on. So I just thought it was something cool so that way you know exactly what to look for. Okay? So shall we get stamping? Of course, right? Okay. Let me get a silicone mat real quick. I did forget that. And then we'll be ready to go. Alright. So, I got this new set at Onstage, and it's called Around the Corner. It's in the new catalog. And this is what we're going to be playing with tonight. And believe it or not, when I saw this, I went, that and that need to be in clay. Gee, go figure, right? Because that's just me. So, that's what we're going to be doing tonight, is I'm going to be showing you how to stamp in clay, or paper clay for this instance. Paper clay has some paper fibers in it, and when it dries, it's very lightweight and a very cool product. No, it's not Stampin' Up! We don't carry it, so therefore it doesn't conflict, but I will tell you, it is a very cool product. And it's, you know, at one of those competitor places. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So, I'm sure you guys know about it already. Give me a half a sec. For some reason, I got a catch. 1 second. Alright. So, hi Deb. Hi Jude. You're fine. I was running a little bit behind tonight too, so you are okay. If you didn't catch it, I was out rescuing Joel. He got a flat tire out at just past Essex today. So, I've been having some fun. Did you know that in a long bed Nissan Frontier, our Harley Sportster will fit? Anyways, I do now. So, I'm just opening my paper clay if you're wondering what I'm up to. And we're going to get started. So, if you have a silicone mat from Stampin' Up, that would be awesome. However, if you don't, you can also use like a flexible cutting board from Dollar Tree. You can use a regular cutting board. You can do lots of things. So, one thing with this stuff does dry out pretty quick. So you want to make sure that once you open that bag, you stick it in a Ziploc or stick it in something. So that way, you end up with not a huge brick, okay? So you want to make sure that you get a container of some sort, airtight container, to keep that in. I'm going to be using it later tonight, so I'm not too worried about it, but I did have a bag. Just let it be told, I did have a bag. Alright, so what I have here are circular cutting, circular cookie cutters. Sorry, I'm so used to saying die cuts. Anyways, these I use for cookies, but I also use oftentimes for clay. And the smallest one is like a perfect size for a thinly rolled out pendant. Go figure, right? So what I do is I grab one of my old brayers after I mush a little bit, right? Oh, and I've got a little bowl here with a little bit of water so I can dip as needed. So I've got my old brayer here, And of course I already did it too thin, so we're gonna redo. Nice thing about paper clay is it's true to color. And what I mean by that is with regular clay, because you've got that brown tint to it, you end up with not a true color. So if you dropped, you know, the Rainker bottles, if you dropped like an orange, it would become more of a brown. In this case, orange stays orange because it's a white base. So it's kind of a cool concept that you actually get. Well, that needs to be rolled out a little more. That you actually get what you're asking for. Okay, so I've got my little brayer here, and I'm just being gentle and rolling until I don't have edges showing anymore. You want it to go fairly thin. Now, I'm thinking pendants for Mother's Day, but you know, if you wanted to do Father's Day, you could do tags instead. They're really cute for gift bag tags and that kind of thing. There's a whole bunch of uses to this paper clay stuff. So I'm just going to cut this so I have a circle and I don't have funky edges. Okay? So kind of like Play-Doh, right? Back in the day when we all had little kids. I know there was a lot of Play-Doh in my house. Not a lot of slime though. We tried that once and I got pictures to prove it. That was actually, oh, and I got the tools that we use for the embossing paste. So I figured these might come in handy for scraping up. Okay, so I'm not used to it being so wet. Usually I've got clay that's half dry because I forget it's in there. But today I actually have decent clay, which, like I said, I'm not really used to. But that's okay. Alright, so I'm just smoothing out the edges here, okay? If you're wondering. And if you're not, I'm going to tell you anyways. Okay? So, good enough for me. I'm going to grab a wipe. Hold on a second. And I'm grabbing this so I don't have clay fingerprints on all my stamps and everything else, because you really don't want to have clay unless it's, you know, where you intended. So, alright, so I'm going to get my imprint and I'm going to grab a block. This is when you want to make sure that your stamps actually stick to the block and they're not old and they don't have ink on them already, because if they have ink on them already, guess what you get to do? You get to have ink on your clay, which is not a good thing, right? Okay. So the other nice thing about this, unlike when we're stamping, is if I push too hard, guess what? It's not ink. So I can smooth out with that water. And you're going to want to go slow so it doesn't pull your stamp off the block. See how it was starting to do that? Okay, and then you're going to clean it, of course. But unlike when we stamp with ink, I can correct a little bit. Isn't that awesome? So I'm smoothing out my wrinkles, you guys. Isn't that cool? Alright, so that's one of my pendants, and then I'm going to grab my piercer, and I'm going to just try to get one of these edges up now that I put water and everything else down. And of course I'm going to have to smooth it out, but that is okay. And I'm just going to pierce here, and I'm going to make a nice circle, and I'm going to make it a tiny bit bigger. And of course the phone's ringing while I'm trying to do this, right? Alright, mute that. We will deal with that later. So I've got, now because it is still clay, you're going to have a little bit of shrinkage. So you want to make sure to go a tiny bit bigger than what you intend. Okay? And then I'm just going to smooth that out a little bit. Okay? And smooth out my edges that I peeled up to get into this. You can also use wax paper. You can also use parchment paper. you know, it's just really up to you. And I'm just going to let that set and dry. After it's set and dry, you can paint this with your re-inkers and an aqua painter, a blender pen, just your markers. If it's truly dry, you're not going to have really any residue come out. And kind of a cool concept, right? So I'm just smoothing that one edge that I see there. So that is just a quick plain clay. Haha, did you hear that? Okay. And then I'm just going to paint it afterwards and sign the back of it. So, pretty easy, but just showing you a different way to play a little bit with your stamps. Let me wipe my hands off again. And I'm going to show you one other technique that came to me as I was crossing the desert. Of course, right? Alright, so I'm going to get rid of my water. Not next to my laptop. Excuse me for a second while I clean a tiny bit. Because I gotta have enough room to play, and if you saw my room, well, I wasn't home today, so it's a little bit interesting. Okay? And that is okay. Alright, so we are gonna do a couple of sets, and of course I can find more if I need to, but we'll see. So this is a card base that I actually was kind of ticked about because I was making a card that was like this, and of course I stamped it like this. So guess what? It's going to be used tonight instead. And I've cut a black mat, and I've got some glossy cardstock, and then just a scrap of white. Okay, so the scrap of white is going to go for some other things, but here was the technique I was thinking of. Normally we stamp and make it all pretty, right? So I'm going to make a background that looks like you were going too fast, or that you started out and you kind of peeled out, and well, you'll just see and you'll figure it out. Okay, so got it? So we've got our glossy here. Yes? Okay? Yes? Okay. So we've got our glossy here. And I'm going to stamp here. Actually, I'm going to do it more in the middle because it's a motorcycle, right? So we're going to stamp here. Ready? And because it's glossy, we're going to stamp it. Make it clear. That's not the fun part. We're going to stamp it again. And I'm doing it this way because I want the motorcycle leaving, so I'm going to have the tail end of it on this side. Okay? So I'm just going to take it and kind of match. And then I'm just going to drag it. Kind of a cool thing, right? At least I thought so. I don't know. Or you can say no. It's fine with me. So I'm going to take the motorcycle and I'm going to grab it. Okay? And I'm going to do this, and I'm going to streak it so it looks like it's leaving, right? Okay, so that's the concept, okay? So it's just an interesting way to create a background. And then, I love this quote, and I need it as a reminder today. Life's a journey, enjoy the ride. Wherever it takes you. I keep telling Joel that I want extra time with him. Well, I got extra time with him. Right? So Deb, this stamp set that I stamped with, it's called One Wild Ride. And it's actually each $1 million achiever gets to design their own stamp set. And there is a punch that coordinates with it, but honestly, I don't have it, so I'm going to fussy cut for here and talk to you for a second. So anyways, so this stamp set was designed by our $1 million achiever, and her name is Dawn Griffith. And if you don't follow her, she's a hoot. She's down to earth. Love her to death. She's a motorcycle rider. And this set was designed after her bike and what she wanted. And her husband owns a cycle shop and, you know, that whole thing. And she is just a really neat person to get to know. one of the many demonstrators that I have become friends with through conventions, on stage, whatever you want to call it, and just a really neat person. So, that's going to be my card, okay? And you can, if you wanted to, you could pretty it up, you can put a touch of pink, you could do bling, you could do all kinds of things with it, but guess what? I'm keeping it simple tonight because sometimes you just need to, right? That is my thing. Tonight it will be simple. So I'm going to finish my drink of Coke, by the way, not what you were thinking. Okay? And I'm going to sit and I'm going to enjoy the fact that nobody got hurt. And today was a good day. And I got an extra 2+ hours with Joel today, which was a great thing because normally I don't. I was looking for my snail. Yes, I've transferred back to snail because there's no more fast fuse, right? So, so I got some time with him and I enjoyed it. And I had forgotten how much I enjoyed being around him. And so, through all the mess of everything and 3 events coming up, I'm going to figure out how to have some time with him and it will be just fine. So there is my card for tonight. Okay. So I'm going to bring back my other, and this is my pendant that I don't like that edge, but it will be okay, right? Okay. So that's what I have for you tonight. Feel free to follow me on the blog. Virtual classes will be starting next month, which has been a long time coming, so enjoy it with me, please. And I don't think I have anything else for you tonight, except keep breathing, enjoy your moments, and be present, because you only get one shot at this life. So, without anything else, follow me on the blog, stampingwithjohnny.com. And I will talk to you soon. Thank you. Have a great night. Bye-bye.